A storm was brewing in the idyllic suburb of Crestview Meadows, where manicured lawns and uniform homes painted in HOA-approved hues created a facade of perfection. The Homeowners Association, led by the ruthless Victor Langley, enforced strict rules with an iron fist. From the shade of your blinds to the precise length of your grass, nothing escaped their scrutiny. Defy their standards, and you'd face consequences. James Harper, a seasoned state prosecutor, had no time for HOA politics. His world revolved around putting criminals behind bars, not trimming his lawn to regulation height. But when his wife, Lily, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, everything changed. Lily was the soul of their home, vibrant, compassionate, the kind of person who made every moment brighter. Her illness turned their lives into a blur of hospital visits, sleepless nights, and crushing despair. James barely noticed the grass growing wild in their yard. But the HOA did. The first letter arrived in a crisp envelope, its cold print accusing James of violating Crestview Meadows standards, an overgrown lawn. He tossed it aside, his mind consumed by Lily's frail form and the ticking clock. More letters followed, each sterner than the last. Failure to comply will result in fines, one warned. Then came the final blow. Continued non-compliance may lead to a lien on your property. A lien. Over grass. James's hands shook with rage as he read the words. His wife was dying, and these vultures were threatening to take their home. One morning, as James tucked blankets around Lily's fragile frame, a sharp knock echoed through the house. He opened the door to find Victor Langley, HOA president, standing there like a king surveying his domain. His tailored polo, gleaming watch, and smug grin screamed arrogance. Flanked by 2 board members clutching clipboards, Victor sighed with mock sympathy. "We understand your situation, Mr. Harper, but rules are rules." James's fists clenched. Sympathy? His wife was fading in the next room, and this man was lecturing him about grass. He wanted to scream, to shove Victor off his porch, but he swallowed his fury. Not yet. Victor, mistaking silence for weakness, handed James another notice with a patronizing pat. "Fix it, or things will escalate." As he sauntered off, James crushed the paper in his hand. They had no idea who they were dealing with. A week later, the HOA upped the ante. A new letter declared their intent to place a lien and even foreclose on the property due to unpaid fines. Foreclosure. The word burned in James's mind. This was the house where Lily painted on lazy Sundays, where they danced in the kitchen, where her laughter once filled every corner. Now, it was a battleground. That night, as Lily slept fitfully, James sat by her side, her cool hand in his. She deserved peace, not this war. But Victor had declared it, and James was ready to fight. As a prosecutor, James had dismantled empires of corruption. Now, Victor had made a fatal error by targeting him. Late at night, while Lily rested, James pored over HOA records in his dimly lit office. What he found wasn't just petty bureaucracy, it was a criminal enterprise. Fines were suspiciously high, targeting vulnerable homeowners. Properties were foreclosed for minor infractions, sold cheaply, and flipped for profit. The kicker? Many buyers were shell companies tied to Victor himself. This wasn't about rules, it was fraud, extortion, theft. James didn't call a lawyer or a reporter. He called the FBI. "This is James Harper, state prosecutor," he said, voice steady as steel. "I've uncovered a criminal operation disguised as an HOA. You need to hear this." The tables had turned, and Victor was about to learn what fear felt like. But the HOA wasn't done. One morning, the roar of power tools jolted James awake. He stepped outside to a chilling sight, landscapers tearing through his yard, butchering Lily's beloved rose bushes. Victor stood nearby, arms crossed, smirking. "You wouldn't comply, so we're handling it. The cost is on you." James's vision blurred with rage. They weren't just harassing him, they were destroying Lily's sanctuary. He wanted to lunge at Victor, to end this right there. Instead, he smiled, a cold, deliberate smile that wiped the smugness from Victor's face. James turned and walked away, knowing the FBI was already closing in. The breaking point came at a packed meeting in James's living room. Neighbors, long silenced by fear, poured out their stories. The Wilsons, an elderly couple, had been forced to sell after endless violations. Sarah Bennett, a single mom, lost her home to escalating fines. Tom Reed, a veteran, watched his house foreclose over a shed. Each tale revealed the HOA's predatory scheme. In the back, 2 federal agents, invited by James, listened quietly. When they nodded, James knew it was time. That evening, Victor received a visitor. A man in a dark suit handed him a federal subpoena. His smirk vanished as he read the words. The next morning, FBI vans rolled into Crestview Meadows, shattering its pristine calm. Agents stormed the HOA office, seizing files, computers, and evidence of Victor's empire. Residents watched, stunned, as the truth dawned: the HOA was a racket. Then came the moment everyone craved. Victor, the untouchable tyrant, was led out in handcuffs, his face twisted in fury. "This is absurd," he spat. No one cared. James stood by the curb as Victor was shoved into an SUV. Their eyes met, and James leaned in. "You thought you could break me," he said, voice low. "But I just broke you." The door slammed, and Victor's reign ended. But victory was bittersweet. Lily's condition worsened. Days, maybe hours, remained. James sat by her bedside, her hand in his, the oxygen machine's hum a cruel reminder of time slipping away. Her eyes, once so bright, were tired but full of love. "You always fought for justice," she whispered. "I'm so proud." Tears fell as her grip faded. With a final breath, she was gone. The house was silent without her. James sat for hours, unable to move, the weight of loss crushing him. He'd saved their home, dismantled the HOA, but lost his world. The pristine lawn, once the spark of this war, mocked him. Crestview Meadows transformed without Victor's grip. The HOA was restructured, not as a tyrant but as a source. Neighbors helped each other, shared meals, and built trust. Where the HOA office once stood, a community garden bloomed, a tribute to Lily. A plaque read, "In memory of Lily Harper, a beacon of light." James could have let grief consume him, but Lily's spirit wouldn't allow it. She'd fought for others, even in pain. So he fought on, targeting corrupt organizations, exposing scams, ensuring no one suffered like Lily had. Her belief in justice lived through him. A year later, James stood before Lily's plaque, the garden alive with color. Grief hadn't faded, but it fueled him. The fight against corruption didn't end with Crestview Meadows. It was just the start. As long as he lived, he'd fight for those who couldn't, for Lily. What do you think of James's battle? Was his fight worth the cost? Share your thoughts in the comments and tell us, where do you draw the line when standing up to injustice? Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more gripping stories.